What it do? I've been wanting to go public, but I don't know if you look at it like public or whatever. I've been wanting to speak my mind, but before I took to the air, I got at my folks, on my Facebook page, Red Panther, and they gave me the green light. You know what I'm saying? I took it to my folks, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna go and handle it then, because it's a lot that ain't right. There's people turning in their grave behind their name, being misused and all this and all that, you know what I'm saying? So I just got too fired up. I was already fired up about a couple other things. I'm finna go on and do this. And they was like, do it. They kind of encouraged me, so I went on and, made the contact. Well, I was all the way up in there, man, in a lot of ways, I learned how to do a lot of stuff.
Let's get into that. How did you get recruited into Death Row?
Well, I remember I seen the homies, the little homies, you know what I'm saying? That Suge and them, Deep Cover was out. And so they had the Death Row record, red Death Row record hats. These little homies, though, they pushed their line too, So, and we was all over, a bunch of them house in the shack, and they was banging it.
They turned that garage in the back into like a party house. If you wanted to find a Mob Piru, you go there. And that's when Suge started hanging with them, because Suge, played football and all that. Then until he started getting into that record stuff, that he started hanging with Piru, with James and them.
It was banging that Deep Cover. I'm like, damn, that shit hard, motherfucker. Snoop Dogg, who the hell is Snoop Dogg? You know what I'm saying? So that's when I was first introduced to it. Suge had pulled up, all the homies, you know what I'm saying? They was doing their thing. I was still in the streets, gang bang, fucking up, and hustling and all kind of shit, you know what I mean? But I used to always be looking at it, but I wound up getting locked up, then I got out. And I used to run into the Buntry all the time. They used to be like, Neckbone, come fuck with us. Whoa, we out here doing this, doing that. Death Row. Is that right? Well, wham. They had just went to New Orleans and got in a big old fight with the New Orleans police at the Superdome. So they tried to, you know what I'm saying? And Big Jake, he was doing his thing, but he already was doing his thing. Then he came to Death Row, but Jake had the management going on with Compton Righteous. Jake was already in there. A youngster too, big old youngster, man, he was younger than us. It really boiled down to the communication factors and getting contacts and learning how to network and handle business. And Jake was good at that because he knew how to talk. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he said his words correctly, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't no slang to nothing. Yeah, we talk slang, they don't know what we talk. But Jake knew how to talk to people too. He knew how to handle business and he knew how to get his bread. So yeah, he was perfect. I'm still in the hood. I was staying in Luce Park hood, Savage City in the duplexes. And I got into it with the Compton police. 2 Compton police, I got killed. And then after that, they went and got into it with the Samoans. You know what I'm saying? And some more shit, it was just cracking that day. It was a fucked up day. But they bailed me out. I was finna bail myself out, but Suge bailed me out. And I said, I'm cool, homie. You know what I'm saying? I had just moved over there. And they was like, well, come on, we same day. Ever since that same day I got out of jail, them niggas had me all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even no money at first. We was getting into shit, and there wasn't even no money at first. It was just an idea, and we was just all putting our 2 cents in and learning and motivated and fired up, but we still had to come back to the hood and deal with the hood. But we was stepping into it. Buntry was already in bad longer than me. You know what I'm saying? Then when I got in, I used to sit next to Dr. Dre every day. That's how I learned how to do the boards. When they was doing After the Chronic, Doggy Style. He was making the beats for Doggy Style, doing remixes on Chronic or whatever, I used to be right there while he was working. He'd do all this shit, you know what I'm saying? And man, I just be they all be back to sitting and doing their shit, and it was always love. What's your Neckbone? They had just met me, and I had to take my spot from this fool, you know what I'm saying? Because Suge was like, going up in there to do be bullshit, woo woo. I get in, it's a big old motherfucker. So this, I guess it's my, you know what I'm saying, my put on or whatever, I don't know. But said, bam, you know what I'm saying? The phone rang. And this is when he answered the phone for Dre while he working. Sit right next to him. So the phone rang, so he reached for it and I reached for it and took it from him and after he got on. After that was my job. So about a couple months later, I started getting payroll checks and we was doing all kind of this and that. And he was giving me chances to figure out how to go past the check, to get your thing on up in here, Neckbone. We used to sit in the meetings with him, with Jimmy, and the rest of them at Interscope, way back. When OFTB used to come up in there and steal shit. OFTB used to come to, Jimmy would be mad. Them motherfuckers that took radios and CDs, and they did rob them. The homies from Dixie Gordon, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I did whatever wasn't being done. That's what I did, you know, and it was fun because I had love for everybody I fuck with. I just joined their team, you know. It wasn't like, we just got along. I just get along good with people, man. That's all that is. And I'm finna put some work in. I'm finna put some work. I got some good ideas and this and that. And I've been learning from Suge every night, fucking with him and Buntry, you know what I mean? And I'm ready to put to work. You know, I used to sit up in the room and listen to demos for hours. I go in there with boxes of demos, lock the door in a little closet, and I'm listening to demos for hours. You know what I'm saying? I could discover an R&B group. Bugatti. B is abbreviation, Bad Girls of the Industry. It was tight. I had to put the little whoop down because, you know, the cats they was messing with, you know, had to toe up, but they had made $1.5 million off of them. Get different deals when the record deals was big. You get group, you can sign a group for $500,000-600,000, and they under your production company. That check come to you. Then you pay them what you want to pay them if you pay them. And that's what was happening to them. But I got them up out of all of that. You know what I'm saying? Was at the demo as a hit 'em up video shoot in Malibu. While Pac and Suge them was out there clowning, I was in the limo on old boy in them head. Nigga, we finna tear this paperwork up. That's a done deal. You ain't getting no fee. You didn't send me paperwork, all the money you didn't make. They don't want to be you know what I'm saying? It was good business though, but you can't be no punk about it. Or you ain't gonna get no business done, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta stand, you know, you gotta be believable. So I got their contracts broke, so that was one of my groups too. And they did some good shit. They on Rage album, the little female singing, that still. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. God be tucking me away or something. Cause when at first it was just me and Buntry. Everything was smooth. Then Heron got out, Lip Dog got out, Stanley Pitts got out, Johan got out. Heron, yeah. Okay, all them got out, we was finna go on the Chronic tour. We scooped all them up on the Chronic tour to do security, like I said. So bam, you know, they part of us now. It's like 7 of us. But motherfuckers start falling off one by one. But everybody who fell off created a beef. Like, fuck them.
Right.
The niggas ain't did nothing. Your shit just didn't work out. You ain't doing I don't know what you got going on. But it's automatically fuck us. Every time they was at him, it'd be fuck us.
Somebody wanted to know how you got your nickname.
Oh, my neck. I was real young, 11, you know, real slim. So yeah, I fucked up and started answering to it, you know what I mean? It was a joke. I started answering it to it, you know, as I got older, 13, 14, I put a little more reference into it. And this guy got used to, you know, my homies, moms and them, everybody, the preacher, all at the school, man, some of the teachers, they used to call me Neckbone. What's up? I was kind of slim. I started gaining weight around in my 20s, a lot of weight in my 20s. But yeah, that's how I got that name. We were just sitting around telling jokes about each other, me and about 5 of my friends. So, you know, they be trying to triple team me on the jokes, you know what I'm saying? Woo, woo, woo. So when they said neck, everybody started laughing. You know what I'm saying? And so every time somebody would say it, it'd be like with a smile, like they just, you know, being free, you know what I'm saying? So I started answering to it, man. I was about 11, 12 years old, I started answering to it. And then, you know, I almost hate that name as much as my real name, you know what I mean? Roger, I don't like that one either. But yeah, that's how I got it, man. You know, that's how I got it.